All right, we're going to begin talking about different ways to back up our OneDrive folder that we've created and set up and downloaded and kept everything on the drive, on the device. This really takes advantage of the hard work we did on downloading it and getting it to stay on our local drive. And now we're going to use more traditional backups to make another backup copy of it to save from disasters, corrupted files, deleted files that aren't discovered to be deleted till months later that really OneDrive doesn't cover. As I said, OneDrive really isn't a backup system, it is a cloud sync system. Now, certainly, if you have your hard drive crashes and you need to install a new hard drive, it helps restore that, but it doesn't preclude corrupted files that you don't realize are corrupted for months, and as I said, deleted files that you don't realize were deleted till months later. What we're going to look at in this video is the first one, and it is Time Machine, which I'm sure you're already running to back up your system. The thing we're going to do here is Time Machine automatically, or by default, excludes the OneDrive folder. It excludes it not to be backed up, not to be included in the OneDrive backup. And I've seen some places where they say, well, just put in the OneDrive volume, just take it out of the exclusion zone, and you'll be fine. Well, I haven't really evaluated whether that works or not, but you really have to dig into the file structure, the way OneDrive works and stores files on the OneDrive folder to really get at backup and get to Time Machine. So that's what we're going to look at here in this video. The first thing we're going to look at is Time Machine. It's built in, it works. So let's dive into that. If you have not set up Time Machine to back up your regular system, you put the Time Machine location. Go to another video or make sure you do that. I'm not going to go over how to set it up. We're going to start here from the fact that indeed we do have a Time Machine volume ready to go. Now, what you want to do is want to go to Options. Because what we're going to do, we're going to add the OneDrive APFS volume, but we're going to do it in a very special way. And this is what I learned by poking around and all with it. You'll probably see where your OneDrive APFS volume is in the exclusion list. One thing to remember too about Time Machine, unlike a lot of backup software where you could say, well, back up this and back up that and back up that. Time Machine works in reverse. It says back up everything unless it's on this exclusion list. So the first thing you want to do, we want to remove that. So we want to push the negative button, which gets rid of it. And we could say done, and you go, phew. And yes, it would back up the whole thing, and you would be able to recover files, but it would get big, and because there's a lot of stuff there you don't need to back up. So once we got into that, let's go plus. We're going to add excluded files or folders to our exclusion list. So we go plus, and now we go to our the APFS volume that we're using for OneDrive. We click on that. Now we see over here it just says OneDrive. It's a little shortcut. I don't know in the video if it shows in the lower left here. But here's the secret. What you got to do now is turn on View Hidden Files. And that's done with Command Shift period. So when you do that, we see things that come up that we didn't see before. Now, what you'll want to exclude is the OneDrive container file, this OD for OneDrive container. This has to do with the Apple slash, I forget what they call it, but the cloud sync. This is kind of the working container. You don't need to back it up. So we go exclude. So now you see it shows up as being excluded. Let's take another look at, let's go plus again. And you notice every time you got to set that show hidden files, the command shift period. Now you notice these we are not, the OD containers not being taken care of. The only thing we want to do, we see we got this cloud storage that we are backing up. And that's the important one. That's the one we want. So we're done. So we can say cancel. And again, checking on that, we say we're not doing the container, which in our excluded. But you notice our OneDrive folder is not excluded either. So we say done. Now, check it out. Let's just say back it up now. So it's going to go through and it's going to back up your OneDrive folder. It may take a while depending upon what kind of drive you've got. So we're going to pause it here and I'll be back with you once the backup is done to take a look at that. All right, you can see here it is the Time Machine backup is complete. Mine took quite a while. Yours probably will too. Okay, let's see how we might use our Time Machine backups to recover a deleted file. To do that, first thing you would do is you go on and open up your Time Machine volume, do it in Finder, and you see that's what we've done here. And you'll see there'll be a folder for each backup, and there can be a whole series of them. I'll show you an example later on. For testing purposes, we'll use this folder. So here's our backup folders, and here's our Finder, our OneDrive account. Now, let's assume we've got in X, folder X, we delete x.txt. And let's say, oh shoot, that was an important tax document or legal document or copy of birth certificate or a picture, valuable picture, whatever the case may be. Now we know right now I could certainly recover it in the trash bin on my Mac, on the Mac. I could also recover it from the recycle bin in the trash bin in OneDrive online. But let's say I didn't realize it was gone for 4 months. Well, neither one of those are going to work. But what you could do is you could go back to your Time Machine, open it up, your Time Machine volume, and go to one of the earlier ones when you know it was there. Like, let's say I know it was there on the 29th at 1409. So you could go there, expand that, just open up that folder, and you see you get two folders under that. One, the Mac Mini, this is a normal Time Machine system, like you want to restore your system or whatever the case may be. That's what this is. And then you see we got another one that is our OneDrive um, volume that contains our OneDrive folder. So we want to go to that one. Now you see right now it only contains a shortcut. And this confuses a lot of people. If you click on that, it's going to go right to here. It's not really the underlying data that was collected by Time Machine. What we have to do, and we do this every time we're doing backup restores of OneDrive, is we have to show hidden files. So we need to do simultaneously Command Shift period. And then we know that's under cloud storage, not OneDrive personal anyway, also, because you see that's a shortcut too. So you have to expand the cloud storage data, then the OneDrive personal. You see, this is not a shortcut. This is really it. And you see, now we see the actual files, and of course, they would match what was down here at this time. But let's go find a file that we had want to retrieve, that important picture or text document. We called it x.txt. So here it is. It's x.txt. So I simply copy it. Then I come here to X and I simply push paste item. And now we look. And there's our x.txt as it was July 17th at 2025. Frankly, I use this a lot, even if it's stored on the recycle bin. I just find that being able to go back and pick up the OneDrive, the time of the OneDrive backup is a lot, conceptually is a lot simpler to me. Okay, to finish up my discussion on time machine backups of OneDrive folder, what I've got open here is my actual production system of all the time machine backups. Um, and just wanted to give you a flavor for how Time Machine works. Uh, Tell you what, I'm going to reverse this. So the newest ones are on top. So you see, today's the 30th. So it's been making backups basically every hour. Same on the 29th, yesterday. But once you reach the 28th, now it's consolidated over only has one folder per day. There was a gap here where we weren't doing backups. So, and it'll start consolidating these as time goes on even longer. See, this one's only been running since the 9th. You see, I got the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So what you'll end up with basically is a backup every, one backup per day. And then backup hourly for the past 2 days. And then Time Machine will continue to, I think, I'm not real sure, and it's not real germane to this, and exactly how Time Machine keeps going as they get longer and longer. I guess we could look it up, but it's not terribly germane to what we're talking about here. But what I'm trying to say is, you'll see it here. If you build your Time Machine archive up, it becomes pretty valuable on keeping those files. Now, this wouldn't be the only backup that I did because Time Machine will roll off files. It's not guaranteed to recover anything anywhere, like you can make MSP 360 do, as well as a offline backup to a separate drive that you then unplug and just put it in the drawer. And but I think hopefully you found out this is extremely valuable. I certainly have on my day-to-day work, and it just makes me feel good, feel confident, if you would, to know that OneDrive is in there, Time Machine, excuse me. Time Machine is in there saving my files for me and making it easier for me if I do need to go back. And for some reason, I can't get it from OneDrive, either the version history is messed up or who knows what there may be, that this gives you another shot at getting the files back. Anyway, if you like this video, thumbs up would be appreciated. If you subscribe to the channel, we're going to continue to put out additional videos on OneDrive on Mac and expanded some other Apple related and other things later on. Thank you.